for detailed deployment, I gotta have the tool to look for different stuff and get into the numbers to work out like which works, which doesn't work.
Well, the whole thing about the course is even when when the numbers don't add up, then again that's to your advantage because it's a bit different. It's a bit tricky at the moment because there's laws that are protecting businesses from going insolvent. But under normal circumstances, we know how to block that.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah. So where most people go, I don't know what to do. I just want to get out of here. I'm sick of having.
And then they cannot sell it to.
They can't sell it. They've got no value. Then you go, okay, well, give me the keys. And let's have a look. And if it doesn't work, and you can always, as long as you follow the correct legal process, and really there's nothing you can do, you can always just go, well, sorry, I tried. See you later.
Yeah.
Maybe I should sell some of my businesses and get listed. But yeah, they were doing good. If border opens, maybe they can regain its prime.
Well, the latest on that is Qantas are now taking bookings for August. They're hopeful that with the vaccine, that international travel will recommence or start recommencing slowly.
In April,
Yeah, it's not like in UK. I think they're like 1 in every 50 as virus.
They changed the virus. It's mutated.
Mutated already. Yeah.
There's only 1 in 50 already, and then it's still reaching like consider auto.
Do you guys know a bit about PropTech? PropTech platforms like PropTech Technology, new startups? Never heard of it?
What's it called?
PropTech.
PropTech.
It's like property technology advanced startups. It's just combining things. So there are multiple PropTech startups in the industry. Some of them are doing good, like over 270 startups already there in property technology industry. So
No, I'm not familiar with it.
I'm more into that finance part of it. So in finance part there is the few one I can name of is like BrickX. That's American funding group came with 8 million, but now they raised more than 20 million out of those ordinary people's pockets.
Is this like crowdsourcing to fund
funding,
startup?
yes.
To fund. Okay. Do you know who started that concept of crowdsourcing to help startup companies?
Who?
Adam Hudson.
Oh yeah, that's the American guy.
No, he's not. He's the
Who is?
Australian guy.
Australian.
Okay. I think he partnered with an American guy, or he partnered with somebody, but that was one of his concepts. He's the guy who does the Amazon course as well.
Good, but as far as I know, the BrickX.com is actually Australian-based company by American founders.
Yeah.
What they do is they buy property as a company, like with shareholders. So let's say the property worth $700,000, like your Muscat one, and then they divide it into 10,000 equal piece of $70 worth of shares.
Yeah.
So whoever buys that shares, they can get the rental income from week one. So,
that's what Grant Cardone's doing in the States.
right.
Yeah, that's one of his business. He's got Cardone Capital. Okay.
Like to work like a rate for commercial property.
Because he buys developed property, and he does that same thing. So people can do exactly what he
Put
said.
their money and then they
Securitization.
become a shareholder and they can get weekly or annual rental income portion based on their shares worth.
Correct.
And
Correct.
then
I remember him talking about that, and he said that when he was talking to a developer, he said to the developer, like, okay, I bought that building off you for 55 million, but really I could have probably got away with about 47 million. And the guy said, yeah, probably. And he goes, no problem. He goes, doesn't matter. And the property developer says, well, why? And he goes, well, you get a bit of extra money now, but I get income from this place for the rest of my life.
right.
So who cares?
So if the property price goes up like 780 from 700, then each share would be valued at not 70 but 78.
Yeah.
So whoever is selling back, they will sell for profit, something like that. But good and bad side is, good is like it's just $70 to start with. The bad side is you can't finance against that $70, or you can't own any title portion.
Correct.
You have no control over the transferable asset. And then there's another concept like you never bought anything yet. So if I knew this concept earlier, I could have even kept my husband, for example. It's like whoever contributed to the deposit bigger, they can get the bigger portion of the title.
Yeah.
Like wife came up with 80%, the husband came up with 20%, so the title can be divided into like 80% goes to me, 20% goes to him, and something like that. Using that concept, Brick-led PropTech startup platform provides like they divide into 10 or 20 equal pieces for the portion of the title. Like it's 500,000 worth of property becomes like 25,000 worth of piece, and multiplied by 20 portional titles. So because the title is involved, they can get finance against it.
Yes.
So
It's
you
like
can-
almost like a same concept as as a superannuation fund.
yes.
Because superannuation funds are buying.
But in your
anything.
fund, are you all by yourself or someone else is also?
No, so originally the goal I have the property and then the cash. My advisor was going to invest, but I've decided against it. I'm actually going to change it to a system where there's like a generic self-managed super fund where it's a lot cheaper. It's a third of the price that I'm paying, and I'll just keep my stock of money in my Australian super account, so that way that money can be invested as per Australian super, and I've got the big pot of money which I had before into an actual property, because there's good tax benefits at retirement when you have a property in self-managed super. Number one, you don't pay capital gains tax. Number two, you don't pay income tax on the rent unless the rent reaches $180,000 a year.
Oh, really?
So if you can earn $180,000 a year when you're retired, hey, I'll pay the tax on that, no problem. Because when you're retired, you don't need that much money to retire on per year, but it'd be very nice. So it's very, very tax effective.
So the third PropTech platform I'm trying to build up is kind of like brick built, but it's more like finance side. So what
you're trying to duplicate that business process.
Not exactly, but I can combine, because they already created the platform and all legals and everything is done. So
So it's the platform. It's not necessarily they're facilitating this kind of management.
they are providing it. So based on that,
Yeah.
I'm trying to apply that Queensland rooming concept. It's like you buy the
Yeah.
whole land or subdivision property or what house or whatever, and then you create small 1-bedroom or 2-bedroom units within it. So basically you're buying just one dwelling but multiplied it into many pieces.
Yeah.
So
Understand.
in Queensland it's called rooming, but over here it's more like square meter dependable title.
Yeah.
So it's kind of more understandable in certain markets, like Asian markets, they understand it straight away. Instead of the equal portion of like 25,000 worth of just 5%, 10%. They want to go in like 32% goes to this part, like one huge dwelling, like one studio apartment or 1-bedroom. So they are willing to buy that as a book, as the livable area to own. You see?
Yeah.
So for that studio, you'll have that portion of title you can provide based on that brick-led concept.
Yeah.
So it's more easier to sell because it's more transferable, it's livable, the whole unit that someone can start owning instead of just being part of something.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Okay.
More
I see.
independent.
Yeah.
So that's where I want to achieve. And
It's quite interesting.
Yeah, tools are already there, so I'm trying to educate my people as well. 'Cause,
So you need to get somewhere near a university to be really to get your location, to get the effectiveness of the
even if it's brand new, foreign investors can get involved because they can buy brand new,
yes,
right?
yeah.
So title can be on their name. So
You find somewhere with a couple of old wooden Queenslander
Yeah.
houses, and just get rid of
so
it.
just keep it in your mind because I'm also willing to make it reality because it's quite new. I'm trying to distribute those information so someone maybe can get more.
So be mindful too, in Brisbane right now, say, along the Brisbane River, there's I think 6 or 5 bridges have been authorised to be built. Are you aware of this? Yeah. So that's going to make opportunities as well, particularly, so there's 2 going to be at West End, one 400 metres away from my apartment, which goes directly across the river to one of the jet cat, the river cat stations, because where I have to walk at the moment, it's 1.8 kilometres around the river to get to the nearest ferry. But now, once this bridge goes in, it's 400 metres. So that's going, and plus then you've got access to the Toowong, the shopping centre, directly in front. But there's going to be another one up near the park at West End, across to the university. There's already a bridge. There's a bridge already, which just for buses and pedestrians and cyclists. And there's going to be more bridges along the river at different points. So depending on what is on each side of that river, what the benefit is, there's going to be some opportunities there as well.
I would consider it.
Yeah.
Also, through is because you haven't owned anything yet, regardless of your partner is on the same page or not, you can still start by yourself, start owning on your single name, and that way sometimes helps you to simplify your taxation part, maybe. Like combined income, combined tax reduction from the investment property expenses. That's complicated when you're a partner sometimes. And sometimes it's best to buy under single name. More simple. But some accountants
Because I have to
usually-
factor in two individuals' financial situations versus one.
That happened like when my 17 years marriage had to end because I was allowed to buy multiple properties, but he wasn't on the same page. I didn't know I can buy on my own. So whatever I buy, it's like he's entitled to half. That's how I understood at that time. But whatever I built up, I had to give away part of it to continue my journey. So because he's in his early stage, maybe it's good for him to know all those things I paid a lot to know. So it's good that you haven't owned anything yet, because you can establish your base and fundament in the best way, best possible design.
It'll be interesting when my girlfriend gets here, because she's in Korea at the moment, so it's a bit difficult to travel.
So you're stuck from her.
Yeah, but she's not this way in thinking. So because when she comes, I mean, she's now 37, so we're going to start family straight away, and so there'll be only one income, and that's why I'm trying to do as much as I can now, while I don't have those extra expenses to get things built and established. But I did say to her, this is what I'm doing, and one income for 2 people, it's not good enough. It's not good enough for me, for the lifestyle that I want.
But that motivated
So
me.
I need to be able to be spending money as building businesses or investing in property. It might be a bit painful to begin with, but for the long term, this makes all the difference to the lifestyle. Being able to fly back to Korea to see your parents and all that.
I was successful in corporate world, and then I found out like I'm over 30. If I want to start a new young family, like if I get pregnant, there will be not much I can expect from corporate later anyway. So that's how I.
You don't get rich working corporate.
Yeah.
You work.
That's right.
The bit I told you this one. The best picture I've ever saw, the most motivating picture I ever saw, was here's a nice Mercedes
Yeah.
E-Class, and the boss, which is the boss's car, and
Yeah.
there's nice car, boss.
I can buy 12 second.
No, he says thank you very much. If you work really hard for another year, I can buy another one.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then it just that was all it took for me to go, I get it. I understand it.
But majority never pick it up. They just need more explanation into it.
People I know that they were shocked when they said, so how was what did you do for Christmas? And I said, well, my business partner and I, we were educating ourselves and we were doing this. He was here at 9 o'clock in the morning on Christmas morning, and all we were doing was we were working on our business. And I said, because if I don't do that, if I'm sitting around and doing nothing, I'm thinking I've just wasted 3 hours where I could have been working on the business. I could have been doing that.
Or what is it? Garbage in, garbage out.
Correct. And the only thing that stops me, besides my full-time job, is when I'm just tired. And it's my brain just says, not tonight, or stop. And that's why I try as best I can to get up early in the morning, because I'm far more productive. If I get up at 5, I don't start work till 9.
So
There's 4 hours.
I also joined that 5 a.m. club. Is there any specific one for Sydney Cycles?
Oh, I don't know if there's an actual.
Maybe you should be like one.
No. I don't want to join an actual club. It's just a philosophy.
Right.
But I don't want to join a club at 5 because that takes time away from what I'm doing. Because I want to get up, I want to be exercising, I want to be, because that helps you wake up. You've got the blood flow, do some work, eat well, and then I go to work. And then I've done my stuff. I've done several hours. Like when I did the Grant Cardone sales course.
When did you take it?
Last year.
Okay.
Or the year before, but I did it over 7 months. It's supposed to take a year.
How much was it?
About $1,000.
Now COVID, he's making it very cheap, I think. 300 something.
Yeah, he's good like that. But what I did, instead of waiting a year, I didn't want to wait a year. I wanted to do it sooner. So every day, even no matter what happened, every day, even if I did it for 20 minutes, it's still 20 minutes more than if I didn't do it. And just by doing all those little extras, I managed to finish it in 5 months earlier. So using that same concept, you can see just doing something is better than doing nothing. Just do it.
Yeah. The same thing, like when I was a computer IT student, I paid some migration agents to get my skilled migration quicker. But some people did it on their own, but it took them 2 years to get it. But by then I already got my PR within a few months, and I already bought my property and over here and over there.
The value of time.
The lost opportunity cost is still
Yep.
there for someone who already know where they are.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.